Gorgeous! Brilliant! Mule with it. Wood's got round the back. And Richie Wood has done it again! The magic man has come up with another trick! Well, here's a chance to seal it. It's done! It's Georgie Kelly! Rotherham United's pathway back to the Championship is opening up!
Hello everybody, welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast for the still unbeaten Rotherham United. I might say that towards the end of August, to be honest with you. Very unexpected, but we'll take it. We'll take what we can get. Thank you all for joining us. Michael is with us. How is it going, Mick? How's your weekend been?
It's been absolutely top notch, mate. I cannot complain.
Love it. Danny, how's you went down to QPR along with 400 and something? Good effort for
about
prices and everything else. How was London?
Well, we paid £36 and we came out with a point, so can't complain too much, can we?
No, not unless you were one of the unlucky few. I know that you could move around the seats, but some of the views from some of those seats were criminal, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they were. I was sat next to a pillar for half a game. I had to keep going down some little stairs to see the corner.
Yeah. It's like Wednesday's ground, but just further away and somehow a bit worse.
If that's possible.
So yeah, thank you all for joining us. First of all, what I want to say is thank you to we put something out on Friday, I think, about the Football Content Awards nominations are open, and we asked you to, if you think things are going well, if you're enjoying the podcast, go onto our Twitter feed, our pinned tweet. There's been loads of people that have already told us they've nominated us, and I'm sure there's loads more that haven't told us that have done as well. So thank you, everybody. We very much appreciate it. We're not going to go on about it, but I just want to say thank you to everybody that's bothered to do it. We do very much appreciate your support and your watching and everything else. We sort of say that as, I think a lot of people say that and don't mean it, but wouldn't do it without all the people listening and watching, would we? So thank you very, very much for that. Move on to Danny's commented. Up the unbeaten Millers. Thank you, Danny.
I thought I'd get the ball rolling,
Yeah. Up the Premier Home UK says up the Premiership bound Millers. Time to get carried away. I like it, Powermad. S64 Miller says, evening everyone. Imagine going away during the week and making your mum and dad watch the best podcast. I don't know what else you meant to do on your holiday, to be honest with you. It's just, go on. There's got loads of other people with us. Thank you, everybody, for beating us. Let's start our comments and our conversation with Powermed, who says, should be beating teams like QPR. I mean, we get teams like Rotherham. We accept it. But I was really surprised, Mick, how high and hard QPR went on Saturday, because this season they're going to be a nothing. They're going to be mid-table. I don't think they're going to be a relegation battle, but they're going to be a middle nothing team. I was really surprised at the reaction from them.
Yeah, it's a bit bizarre, isn't it, really? It's just, I don't know what it is, Is it we're used to being Premier League syndrome? Is it we're from London syndrome? I don't know what it is. Is it just, it's August, so we're all going to go up syndrome? It's possibly a combination of all three, I don't know, but not to write home about, lads, I'll be honest.
No, not at all.
We went to Preston on Tuesday night, and had a much tougher game. And to be fair, I would argue, and I know we'll go into this anyway, they only scraped a point because of a defensive error by us. So if we'd not made that defensive error, we could still be playing now, and they still wouldn't have scored. So what else?
Yeah, I completely agree, Danny. We'll talk about the general incidents and everything like that. But from a QPR point of view, we don't like to bash other teams, so we're not going to bash them. But what I will say is, without Willock, they could be in a relegation battle, because he was superb. And Chair had his moments, and I accept he had his moments, but I wasn't that impressed with him. I thought Willock was superb.
Yeah, Willock was definitely their standout player. I mean, the main names in the QPR side, if you like, they were kept very quiet. You know that Lyndon Dykes only had 1 or 2 shots, and they weren't on target, I don't think. Or if they tested Johansson, it wasn't a big test. Yeah, more or less the whole QPR side were kept quiet, other than Willock, and the only reason he broke through was just from a little defending error from us. And fair play where fair play is. It were a very tidy finish for him.
It was, yeah, it were. They had a good amount of possession, few shots, other than the Dykes one that he pulled a save off. Although I think Victor maybe made that look better than it actually was. The save. I think it was a good high. I think he could have caught it, but it's better safe than sorry. Better to try and put it out for a corner than try and hold it and drop it. Let's talk about the game specifics as we like to do. If I think my memory serves right, it was one change from last Saturday where Rathbone came in for Lindsay. Other than that, it was unchanged from the Reading performance. Obviously, there were a couple of changes. No, it wasn't, was it? Because Harding came out for Peltier. Peltier played right wing back. Instead of Wes Harding. Everything else was the same. It was good, Mick. I mean, the team performance was fine. It wasn't. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, that was spectacular." It was super. It was a very good defensive performance, and there were some very good attacking moments. But it wasn't an amazing performance. It was just solid, and that's what being solid will keep you up.
Yeah, it will. It will. There were periods of the game where we bossed the game. Those periods were short and few and far between, but they were there, which is a step up from what we had at Preston. And there were periods of the game where we were absolutely under the cosh and defending for his lives, like we did for the whole game. For the whole second half at Preston. So there's very little negative to take out of it when you look at the bigger picture. There really are only positives, because we seem to be improving again, game on game at the moment, as players come together and start understanding each other and working together. It's looking really good, mate. I don't want to say it's early doors, it's so early in the season, and I've never been one for the big August sort of optimism and all that, but the signs are really, really good at the moment. And yesterday showed that we can put ball on deck and play.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, we can. I think maybe our down point at the minute is that there's not really a down point. We haven't shown it yet, but we don't have an option to go long at the minute. Now, that's going to change probably when Tom Eaves comes in a little bit. I know he's not maybe a hold-up play, but that is maybe a flaw at the minute, but that's a sort of a side issue. I thought the referee, Danny, had an okay game, but there's 2 incidents sort of consecutive that QPR have issue with. One of them, the second one, we'll come on to in a minute, but the handball by Ollie Rathbone, Tyler Roberts took to Instagram to voice his displeasure about it. To be fair, it was a penalty. It should have been a penalty, and referees missed a big one.
Nah. I didn't say this on the coach at the time, but I actually thought the one in the second half was more of a penalty than the handball.
Nah.
Because the handball to me looked like he just kicked it and it's just hit his hand. He hasn't put it out on purpose. He's been going to go after the ball. And you know how your body moves when you're going after the ball. You're quite fluid. And so his hand's just come round and it's just hit his arm. And so I didn't think that were a penalty. I thought the other one was more of a penalty. But then that one wasn't given either. Because for whatever reason.
Well, the second one weren't given because it weren't a penalty, Danny.
Yeah, and I don't think the first one was. So, and if I don't think the first one was, then I'm sorry, QPR. Then you just didn't get 2 penalties. So unlucky.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think you can argue, like Danny said there, that the rules, ambiguous as they are and convoluted as they are, say that if the ball's booted straight at somebody from a shortish distance away, it's not a penalty, depending on who the referee is and what frame of mind they are and so on. So you could argue, I suppose, that it wasn't. I'd want it personally.
Yeah, I would.
So I guess the acid test is, if it was the other way around, would you want it? Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Yeah. And then a few minutes later, we scored from the resulting free kick. So it doesn't really matter. But that was a penalty. The foul on Chio was inside the box. And I know the line I can't see because of where he stood. And I can maybe I can't defend the referee, but it's a penalty, mate. It was we scored, so it doesn't matter. But the referee made a mistake. There was a penalty, weren't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, there were probably 3 fouls in that
Yeah.
very, very short passage of play. The referee didn't give the first one. Then there was another one which continued into the box, where there was another one. And he's kind of given the second one. He's taken the easy way out and given the second one just outside the box. I mean, we scored from it ultimately, so he can't really complain. But it's difficult. It's difficult for him, and I'm going to try really hard not to slate referees unnecessarily because it's not fair. But I thought he had a decent enough game, to be honest. Overall.
You were all right, weren't you?
Yeah, there's nothing to complain about, and yeah, you could argue that should have been a penalty, but we got a free kick, and to be fair, the first one should have been given 3 or 4 yards outside the box. So
yeah,
this is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Concan says he doesn't think either was a penalty. Palmer UK on the handball says not a handball for him. The rules, as he knows it, our hands have to be in an unnatural position. Yeah, don't disagree with the. I would want it, but I understand why he didn't give it. Is the best way I can describe it. Now let's talk about one of the hottest streaks in English football at the minute, Chio Ogbene. 4 goals in 5 games. I think if you include last season's stats, he's got 6 goal involvements in the last 8 games, which is not bad going at all, Danny. I mean, again, it's another goal which is a striker's finish, and he's got a little bit lucky because of the rebound. But that's the type of goals. You go back to Michael Owen and people like that. They're just in the right place at the right time from a set piece. He didn't win a header. He was just there. And that is such an improvement. I say it's an improvement. It's what he started doing, and it's so impressive from Chio.
No, mate, he's rubbish. I don't think clubs should be looking at him. But now, Chio's hit like red hot form this season. Like we said, 4 goals in 5 now? Yeah, 4 goals in 5. And last season, up until probably around New Year, it was being criticised for not getting involved in goals enough. But this season, it has to be him playing further forward. It has to be. It just seems to be more fluid in that position, especially in the Championship. And it's just great to see in it. He's finally blossomed into the player that we knew that he was, and it's just fantastic. And I honestly think if we keep him until after this first transfer window, he'll just keep getting better and better. And every goal he scores, it's at least another 250k on his price tag, which people were unwilling to pay to begin with. My only worry is someone may put a lot of money on the table as a panic buy because he's been scoring a lot. That's my only worry. But if he stays beyond the start of September, I think he could sign a new deal. He'll go with his gut and sign a new deal, where his football's fantastic.
Okay. Donald London says, absolutely love Chio. He's a proper RUFC lad through and through. We need to do anything we can to keep him. Buy a row of houses in Rotherham. Anywhere in Rotherham, because Lithuanians get anywhere. Talk about the goal, mate. Let's talk about the goal first. With the talk of Chio staying is quite a big conversation, which I think we need to have in a minute. But talk of the goal anyway and his recent performances. Is he now a striker?
Well, I mean that goal would say yes, wouldn't it? It was cool, it was calm, it was composed. He didn't just throw his foot at it; he placed it exactly where it needed to be. It shows a striker's instinct. I still think he's got a lot to learn about playing in that position because he's finding himself out of position quite a lot. He's still finding himself out wide because old habits die hard and all that. But yeah, I mean, he's doing a great job. Absolute fantastic job. So you cannot knock him. What can you say?
It was a threat in the second half. Particularly on the left-hand side, where he sort of found himself quite a lot in the second half. The freedom with the striker is you can sort of play anywhere across the middle. So when Cohen Bramall comes on in second half, if I'm Chio, I'm putting myself near where Cohen Bramall's going to be, because that pace is going to free up some space for Chio and so on and so on. It just helps, and that gives him that freedom. If he's on the right-hand side as a right wing-back, he's on the right-hand side as a right wing-back. I think this position maybe gives him a bit more freedom to do that. Brian Vernon rightly points out, Chio was poor on Tuesday, but obviously everywhere has an odd game. Yeah. If he scores 4 in 4, then has a crap 5th game. That's obviously fine, as you sort of rightly point out. Let's talk about the fact he may or may not stay, Mick. Yeah. People have different opinions. Nicholas Skidmore says if he doesn't sign a new contract, we have to sell in January. That's his opinion. Now this is where it becomes difficult, because Danny's right. Danny's 100% right. If you're a top-end Championship club, a bottom-end, low mid-table Premier League club, and you're short of a striker, and this guy in Championship scored what could be 6 or 7 goals by the transfer window close, you'd be daft not to chuck a couple of mil at him, potentially more, 3-4 million pounds. I know he's out of contract, but he's scoring goals, and he will get you goals right now. There is a risk that somebody could come in with that money. What is it realistic to sell him? Do we say no, whatever, until January to see where we are? Where would your negotiating seat be?
It's difficult, isn't it? It's not a position I'd want to be in this. However, I, in my view, because of where he's playing now, and because of the fact that he's playing there successfully, 4 in 4, or 4 in 5 this season, if you want him, you can have him by the end of the transfer window, but you're going to put £10 million on the table because he's a 4 goals in 4 Championship striker. If you're not going to pay that money, then do one, and then we can reassess in January. Chio Benny will not spend the rest of his career with us, will he? Clearly, he is going to go. Now, what we want to try and avoid, if we can, is for him to go for a free at the end of this season. So we've got to think about the club and whether we can actually get some money for him. It's a big ask, bearing in mind he's out of contract at the end of the season, to be asking, high sort of tens millions, up to 10 million quid for a player. But he is worth it. He is worth it. If he's going to get 20 goals in a Championship season, he's worth it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Because if he was playing for Middlesbrough, or if he were playing for Cardiff or Watford or any of those other clubs, they wouldn't take a penny less. So why should we?
Yeah. The risk is that. Let's talk about the contract situation, Danny, first, because we're not going to spend all night on this, but because of his performances now warrant a chat for which the club will be having, and we'll have as fans as well. What could you realistically see us re-signing Chio? Realistically, do you think Chio would agree to that? Bearing in mind at the end of the season, he could go away, assuming he stays injury free, which very much Chio, that's a question. Why would Chio sign a new contract at this club, bearing in mind he could go possibly to the Premier League or abroad at the end of the season for free?
Well, Chio's definitely a player who goes with his gut. He has said that in the past. He's admitted that in a few interviews he's done. And for me, it all depends on what his gut says. If his gut says that, he's happy at Rotherham and he's playing good football here and he knows he can still do better here, then I think he will stay. But I can see where people are coming from, saying if we need to cash in January. But would he be of more value for that little bit more of the season to keep us in the Championship? That's the debate that's going to have to go on at Roundwood to try and keep him and such. But yeah, I could see him re-sign him personally. But
Yeah.
I mean, when I asked him after the Parkgate game, I said it was more actually to try and get him on the podcast more than anything. But he said, "Oh, just like with contracts, leave it until the end of the transfer window, and then we'll see."
Yeah, so Smith and Hickey said the same sort of thing at the last season, didn't they?
Yeah, but what would he lose? You know, if he signed a contract with us for whatever, even if it were on the same terms that he's on now for another 3 years, what has he got to lose by doing that? Because it doesn't stop him going somewhere else.
It stops him going at the end of the season for whatever he wants, wherever he wants.
Why? Because those offers are still going to be there. If he's still banging the goals in, if he's still playing to the level that he's playing at now, let alone take away from that any sort of improvement that he makes over the course of the season, any more development in his ability, he's still going to be a wanted man, particularly if we go down.
But you can either pay £5 million for Chirag, Benny, or you can pay nothing for him at the end of the season, and then his wages potentially increase at whichever club he ends up going to. I think Nicholas Skidmore said something. He would say, I would sign a contract, and if a different offer comes in, we'll let you go. Not sure that way. Well, you can put release clauses into contracts. I will be saying to Chio, right, sign for us a 2-year contract. We'll make you top earner, or not far off the top earner. And when an offer comes in of, let's say, 5 million, I think it might be more than that. So let's say an offer of 5 million comes in, you're off. You're free to go.
If you want.
If which you will want, because still more than double.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Now that the problem is for that an agent would probably stand in the way of that offer, of that deal, because you know what agents are like.
Yeah.
But it's a risk, because if it goes at the end of the season, it's all right saying. Well, the difference with Smithy and Hickey was they weren't really worth anything transfer market wise, were they? They were too old, so we weren't losing. We might have lost $500,000 on Smith. If that on Hickey. So that was a very calculated, very sensible thing to do. If you don't sell Chio and you end up going down, you've lost, let's say, £5 million. Whereas if you can sell him for £5 million at the end of this window, you can bring somebody else in for probably a club record transfer. Probably between 2 or 3, couldn't you? You're building 2 or 3 players out. You're
kind of assuming that whoever buys him pays the money.
Well, yeah, they're doing salt playing. They never pay up for it anyway. But look, there's no interest in Chio. As things stand, there's no interest in Chio. Nobody's talked of any interest. This is just sort of conjecture from our side. But we all know how stupid the transfer window gets. We've all seen it 1,000 times.
We just need to look at Will Grigg when he went to Sunderland, and they put, how much was it? About 5-6 million in for him, and then just bought him.
Yeah. You also look at Burnley. Burnley's start to the season has not been great. So are they going to then start worrying and panicking that they've not got a striker in or not got Ben Wiles in? Swansea's a perfect example because they were linked with Chio. They've had a terrible start to the season.
No, come on, Matt. They weren't linked with Chio, were they?
Well, there was a link to Chio when it was valid or not.
Swansea.
But what I'm saying is, Chio have got money. Swansea have got money in the bank from set transfer sales, and a player like Chio would fit into their system. Now, again,
you think? I'm not convinced.
He's a striker. He's a quick striker who's good with ball at his feet. I'm not trying to sell him to him. But
why do they need a striker? They never play ball touch strikers. And then I said that slightly tongue in cheek, but I thought this when we were watching him when they played at our place. Would Chio fit into this side? No, he wouldn't. He won't get a touch at ball.
It's better than Obafemi, though. The Obafemi who missed the sitter.
Well, he missed that sitter against us, but maybe.
Look, I've just picked a random club out of the air because of they've had a terrible start, and we know Swansea have got money in the bank. That's my point, is that something like that could come in and say, oh, God, he goes to his owner and say, I really need this player to do this. We've got 15 million quid from Flynn Down sale or whatever it were. Let's chuck 4 million quid.
And you can have him. I'll drive him down myself for 15 million quid.
Let's see. That's the worry. It's 10, 11 days. We're recording the 21st. It closes on on the 1st. So 11 days of the transfer window to go. Again, let's see. Let's see how that pans out. It's certainly worth keeping an eye on it. So moving on to the goal. This is really frustrating, this goal, Danny, because it's the first mistake that Cameron Humphries has made while he's in the club, really. And he's made a really silly, and again, looking like I don't know why he's done it. It's a crossfield pass to nobody, which then puts us in bother, and the goal comes from that. Give it to their best player in terms of that. So, really frustrating, really avoidable first of all from Humphries, but then Peltier and Wood probably could have done better as well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, which one was it that he megged? Which one was that one? Because was it Rathbone that he went through his legs?
I can't remember. It might have been. Right, yeah, I don't. He certainly went past Rathbone. Whether that one where he megs him, I'm not sure. But he certainly went past him.
I mean, bless him. If it did go through Rathbone's legs, he needs to work on keeping his legs short when defending. But yeah, like you say, it was probably the first mistake that Humphries has made. But I'm quite thankful it's at this point in the season and not later on in the season. You know, we all make mistakes. We all get let off ones. But I think I saw a comment earlier, I think from Jordan Concannon about it might be his worst, a bad game. There we go. He had a bad game, but from his standards, it was a bad game. So, you know, it's a nail on the head, really. It was a bad game, but by his standards, because we've seen how well he can do.
Yeah, I agree. The John Concannon debate had this debate with a fan on Saturday. I thought Humphries had a bad game, but a bad game from his own standards, which says a lot by his own standards, thoughts, and performance. Yeah, I thought other than the mistake, Mick, I don't think he had a bad game. And yes, it was a mistake, and he shouldn't have done it. But like what we just mentioned, I think it was actually Grant Hall that could have done better. Woody could have done better. Yeah. Peltier could have done better. It's a mistake, but not like firing into top corner like he did last season. It was. Yeah. His teammates should have helped him out, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they had an opportunity to, the remainder of the defence had the opportunity to get him out of that, and unfortunately, we conspired to not get him out of it, which is one of them things, and it happens. It happens, you know. Bear in mind, this is only the fourth competitive game they've played together as a team, if you like. These things are going to happen, so it is what it is. Let's not get too bogged down in it. You know, it's only the second goal we've conceded all season in the league, so you know, you can't really complain, can you? No, players are going to make mistakes. It happens. It is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Defensively, as overall, I know you mentioned yesterday, Mick, you weren't totally convinced by Grant Hall. In that sort of right-hand side defence position. Just tell us what you thought.
Yeah, I feel that he played so well in that Woody position, in that centre of the back three against Preston. And then yesterday, he kind of looked a little bit out of place. He didn't have a great game, I'll be honest. So, you know, again, he's playing in a back three that haven't played together before. So he is good, and not only that, he's going back to a club that he made a lot of appearances for.
True, very true.
So you know, he's under pressure there. He may well have put himself under pressure because of that as well. So look, not a great game, not a bad game, just not a great game, was it? From this point of view.
Yeah. Anything else on the defenders, Danny? We thought Victor was close to man of the match. I'm not sure if he won the club one. I think Gio probably won that, to be honest with you. But Victor had a very, very good game. Woody was solid. Again, you can fault him for the goal, but you can fault four of them for the goal. When it got stretched at the end, that was a problem. But it got stretched because we were trying to win the game and they were trying to win the game. You can't really blame the defence for that, can you? I don't think.
No, Harvey Kelly just coming in with where was it? It was Grant. Yeah, it was Grant Hall. We got Meg and Ollie Rathbone. Fair enough on that one. I was a bit wrapped up in the moment of, oh no, here we go. But for me, it's the goal we conceded was quite similar to the one we conceded against Swansea. You know, there was the initial mistake, and then there was the moment of quality, and we've conceded. which in the Championship catches you out. But like you say, we had the quality in Woodin and Victor that held it together through some of the tough times, just unfortunately, not in that particular moment. But yeah, like you say, another stunning performance from Victor. Maybe my particular favourite one was the wayward shot from whoever it was, and he still dived.
Yeah. I tell you what, on that second half, you wouldn't want to be in Rose Head in that QPR end, would you?
No.
You'd end up with a couple of black eyes.
Yeah. Russ Vernon says, in our opinion, which player was man of the match yesterday? Very easy for me. I know what Mick's going to say. Danny, yeah. I know what Mick's going to say. What are you going to say?
Oh, good question. I was having this debate in a group chat earlier about who was the best player. I'm trying to remember who I went for. It's been a while. I'm going to go for Chio, I think, in the first half.
Yeah.
I think. I'll go for Chio, just edging overall, I think.
Mick?
Well, if you go to the club's man of the match poll vote, they put four nominations forward for man of the match. One of which was Grant Hall, which I was amazed to see on there, quite frankly. And that's not a dig at him in any way. But then if you read all the comments underneath, they all say the same thing, and that's Ben Wiles. Why is Ben Wiles not on this list? He was head and shoulders above everybody else for me yesterday. I thought he was absolutely excellent. Man of the match by head and shoulders for me.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Wiles was superb yesterday. We said on the post-match thing we did on Twitter Space that he was. I'm not saying he's been bad in the last first 3 or 4 games. He's just not been at his own level, I don't think. And I think Saturday was the first time we saw him at what he can potentially do. He maybe could have done better with that shot on the edge of the box. I think that maybe he could have got that on target. I think he could have done better with that one. But that's me being probably a little bit hypercritical, to be honest with you. A great performance. And if that's what he's got to come, get rid of some more bids from Burnley.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Any other performances that stand out, or any other moments in the game? I thought at the end it was quite exciting, and it was an end-to-end game at the end. Mick said a few occasions that it's like a basketball game. It was good. As a neutral, I would probably have enjoyed that. For me, it was quite stressful, but it was still quite an enjoyable game.
Yeah, it was. It was very, very end-to-end at times, especially towards the end of the second half. I think QPR were just trying to throw the kitchen sink at us. But we were still trying to counter-attack. But right, I said this on the Twitter space the other night. We were going forward really efficiently on the counter-attack, but just not quite picking out the right pass right at the end of it. We're sort of stopping before getting the ball in and then passing backwards. And maybe that's because Tom Eaves was going to be brought into the frame, but Paul Warren has since come out and said that he changed his mind because he saw Barlaser lose a run and then swap him out for Lindsay. So, there might be more to that than meets the eye. But, I think in where we need to learn from it, even though it was a very, very good game, and like you say, it was very, very stressful. I mean, my heart was all over the place in that second half. It's like, oh no, don't turn into Preston again. But one place to improve on is passing link up in midfield, I think, and balls into the box when we're on the counter. Other than them two, very, very good from us, I think.
These are the marginal things, aren't they? These are little things that we need to improve on. Just comments. Stephen Thomas, in terms of man of match, Stephen Thomas says Ollie Rathbone shows Essex formula. Says Mr. Rathbone was outstanding. Yeah, he was. They really, really were. We need to look after the ball better. And that's really simple, Mick. And that's pointed out by Barlaser in his post-match, I think Warney as well. It's a very tight pitch at QPR. It's very small. It was very compact and tight. And apparently it was very, very hot as well, which I imagine it would be on the pitch. It was in the sun and everything else. So that's an issue. Is it an issue or is it just something we need to improve on?
I think it's just something they need to work on. I mean, that's the sort of the crux of, well, it's plan A, isn't it? It's plan A. that Swansea talk about. It's the only plan that they've got to keep the ball, and it isn't easy. It isn't easy if you want to combine it with actually being effective with it. So we are able to do it, and we proved yesterday that we were able to do it. There were quite a few passages of play where we dominated possession for periods of time, knocking it about that midfield and using the defence and so on and so forth, and just maintaining possession. We can do it, but it's important, hugely important, to have other things in your armoury, and I think it'll come. It will come. And yeah, it was tight, wasn't it? It was that pitch. There were periods of play where it looked like an under-4s game, under-7s game. Sorry, where there were sort of 15 players all within 10 square yards of each other. So we'll be there. We'll be fine. There's been enough from these first few games of us playing the ball rather than just hoofing it to say that it is something they're clearly working on, and it is effective. So no, I ain't got a problem with it. I think it will come. But you're right, giving the ball away cheaply has been an issue. Yeah.
Some Derby says he thinks we definitely better with Connor Washington on the pitch. Yeah, I think Washington and Shearer were sparking to quite a decent relationship, which is quite exciting, quite good. Yeah, still, so the season we are currently unbeaten, but if you include last season, we're currently 8 games unbeaten in all competitions with the Cup, League One, and the Championship. And we are unbeaten in 7 Championship games. At the end of last season, we ended with 3 draws at the end of last season. Last Championship season, sorry. So that may well be one of the longest unbeaten runs in the Championship, to be honest with you.
Do you want me to hit you with the stats that I was looking up on the bus last night?
Go on.
Well, I was just sat on the bus with my headphones on, just paying attention to my phone, as you do. And I had a look-see, and this is the first time since, I think, about 2002-03 that we've gone unbeaten in our opening 4 games. And I think it's our best start to a second-tier season since that season as well. Yeah, and there's only 3 seasons in Rotherham's history where we've gone unbeaten in our first 4 second-tier games. This season, 02-03 and 1964-65.
We didn't get relegated in that one, did we?
None of those seasons have been relegated. 64-65 was just towards the end of the quote-unquote golden era in the second tier, where we were there for like 18 seasons continuously. And then 02-03 was during the Ronnie Moore era.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was the season we won 6-0 on opening day. Millwall, yeah. It's good. It's a great start. It is really, really good start. Easy to get carried away. Trying not to get carried away. Imagine if we'd won. I think they used to admit when we were winning, Mick, we were 4th at one point.
We were. Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
I think that's why we conceded. We felt a bit vertigo-y being 4th.
Paul Warren got a nosebleed.
Yeah. Comment on Victor. Jamie says on Victor. Victor carries on this way. He will be worth a fortune one day. Yeah, he will. And he's not the only one. He might even get a call. I'm still convinced he's going to get his due a call up for the Sweden national team.
You would have thought so, wouldn't you? The performances he's put in so far this season have been absolutely just out of the top draw.
Yeah,
he's confident. He comes for balls. He's brave. He's a shot stopper. He's got everything that you need. Everything to be a top class goalkeeper. Well, he is a top class goalkeeper, but to play at the top level. The only problem that Victor's got is he's not quite as tall as some of the keepers, but that doesn't seem to be an issue for him at the moment.
He matches. He compensates with bravery, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll start a campaign. I'll email the Swedish national team.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. Get out, do it now.
I mean, we've got the perfect selling point, but it's got the shirt behind him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Stephen Thomas is far better than Rodak. Yeah, we're now at the stage where this will be Rodak's second season with Rotherham United, and Victor is probably ahead of where Rodak was. That's quite a big call because Rodak's gone on to be a Premier League keeper. won 2 promotions to the Premier League. This is all, it's just all a bit of fun, isn't it? But go on, what do you think?
Yeah, he is. There's no question about that. But so is Josh Vickers as well.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, yeah.
We've got an embarrassment of riches in that area at the moment. So the thing for Victor is got to be careful. He's on 2 yellow cards already. He can't afford to get a game ban. He can't afford 5 yellows because he'll not get his place back. So just up here for thinking.
Yeah. And Power UK points out last time in the Championship in our first 5 games we scored 2 own goals. Angus and Icky, I think. The Huddersfield draw, the Norwich loss in the end. We just look comfortable. Then we've said this before on this podcast this season. We're going to say it again because it's completely valid and 100% correct. We lost against Preston 2 years ago, and we lost on Saturday 2 years ago. We're a different beast. It's clearly a mentality thing. We're a different beast so far in this very short sample of games.
Yeah, I think it's Paul Davis that said it best. We are starting to look like a Championship team. We look like we should be here this season. Yeah. I've said that we could lose the next 6, but that's football. You never know. But we've got the yellow one, so I don't think we will. But yeah, like you say, we just look different this season. And like in the tweet that I put out, compare it to our previous 5 starts, and this is still the best start, at least in terms of conceding goals and scoring goals. This is the best start so far, and the best second-tier start under Paul Warne for sure. And yeah, it's just something that is just different this year. We just look like we're up for it and we're up for the fight. And come the end of the season, if we've still got that fight in us, we should be just fine.
Yeah, I completely agree. Nicholas Skidmore says more experience. Yes, I would say there's less baggage from other players. And I'm thinking Smith is thinking Freddie as well. This is a different team. I know we've got some players that are still like Wiles and Barlasser, but this is a completely different set of players who don't have the issues and the baggage of relegations. We said this at the start of the season, didn't we, Mick? And I think that's key. Sam Darwin says Smith and Icky are blessed in disguise. I think Freddie as well. Angus as well, although we would have kept Angus, the 3 of us, I think. Again, it gets rid of that mentality. I once spoke to an ex-Wednesday manager for something I was doing, and they got relegated from the Championship, when they got relegated from the Championship. And he said when they came down, he just gutted everybody. He got rid of everybody because you need to get rid of that mentality, because you need to start again sometimes. And that's almost by accident. That's what's happened to us. We've got rid of that baggage from 2 years ago, and it's helping set a different type of mentality. Not conceding in the second half of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be fair, it obviously worked for that Wednesday manager because they're still not managed to get back in Championship. Have they? No, that's another story. I'm absolutely with Sam on this one. I think Icky and Smith going was definitely a blessing in disguise. No question about it. We talked about this when we got 5,000 Sheffield Wednesday fans watching our podcast for some bizarre reason. That the both of them have had their opportunities on 2 separate occasions to play in the Championship, and both of them have not performed.
Yeah.
So get rid. If you're going to be completely mercenary about it, get rid. And that's what we've done. I accept that wasn't the circumstances in which they went, but nevertheless, it's a really good thing that we've got rid, that they've gone. It's good that Freddie's gone. I'm pleased about that because he's not got the attitude. He's not got the right mental approach to playing in the Championship. And like Nicholas Skidmore said, we've bought in players with Championship experience, vast Championship experience, and that's showing. That is showing, and that's only going to rub off on the likes of Dan Barlasser, on the likes of Ben Wiles, both of whom have got that same baggage that Smithy and Icky had. But the thing that they've got is that they've got the quality over and above those players.
Yeah.
Over and above the other two.
They're at home in the Championship, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're not League One players. Neither of them are League One players. And
Yeah.
probably both of them find it tougher to play in League One than they do in the Championship.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Powered UK has a dig at ITV, but according to ITV, we lost our 2 top players and we'll struggle. Yeah, the only mention we got on ITV, if anybody's interested and didn't watch, the only mention we got on ITV this week was that Chio is brilliant and we'll do well to keep him. That was literally the only thing they said about us in their, call it punditry assessment.
No. Wouldn't call it an assessment either, would you really?
Not really.
An acknowledgement that we exist.
Acknowledgement we exist. There you go. Yeah. Connor Simpson says, did anybody else see how good Kelly's hold-up play when he came out? Yeah, it was very good and it did make a difference. This is an annoying thing. Chio's been brilliant, but I'd love to see Kelly and Washington. I think they would complement each other really well. I think their movement and their runs would be good. But obviously they can't not play Chio.
Well, you can if he goes, can't you?
They'll bring somebody else in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. Danny, congratulations. You got the prediction correct. Well done.
Hey! First time for everything.
Yeah. To be fair, we were all in play. It was 1-9 and 1-1. Nick said 2-1 to us. I said 2-1 to Cooper. We were all in play up until late on. Thankfully, I was wrong. But Danny, I think it's your first correct prediction of the season. Just me and Ben's missing what Ben's obviously not been predicting for a while. I think we've just about covered the game. Is there anything else you want to show us, talk about from our side or QPR's side of the Saturday? I think we just about covered most of it.
Yeah, I think we've covered it all, really, haven't we? Yeah.
I like Stephen Thomas's comment. At least ITV showed the right game.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
And at least they've stopped using the Rochdale badge as our badge. That one always wound me up.
I've not seen that.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember who did it, but someone. I think it was Sky Sports. They kept using the Rochdale badge as our badge. It was like someone's just put R into a keyboard and picked the first one that came.
Yeah. I'm not going to spend time on it, but it's so bland, the ITV. With no one question, Colin Murray is quite an interesting character. He's got a personality about him. The guy they've got on ITV is just the plainest man I've ever seen. He just doesn't seem to have he's clearly reading a script. There's no opinion. There's nothing. And anyway.
Maybe you should apply for a job, Matt.
I'd be too biased towards us.
Yeah, I know you would, but that'd make a change, wouldn't it? It'd be nice.
I would. Bring Colin Murray back.
Absolutely.
He's a good bloke, Colin Murray. I like him.
Yeah. Right. Moving on. We have the blockbuster Carabao Cup tie at New York State on Tuesday. Morecambe are coming back to town after last season. I wanted to play them last season. Second round tie to get through to the third round. We'll start with the ref watch. Peter Wright, no, not the darts player. He is the referee for Saturday. He refed us last season in the 1-0 victory at home to Ipswich, which was it on telly, that one?
Yeah.
Yes, it was on telly. Neither us or Morecambe have lost whilst he has been the referee so far. So with a cup game, something's got to give, obviously, because we can't both draw. We can't draw the cup game, obviously. How much? I'm going to ask Danny, because I know Mick doesn't care. How much do you care about this one, Danny? It's just, I like it. I love the Carabao Cup, but it's just bigger fish to fry, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think with us facing Birmingham at home the following Saturday, I can see why we'd have bigger fish to fry. But at the same time, it would be nice to go through to round 3, and start seeing how we do against the big boys, just for the fun of it. And like Tiny rightly points out, we lost 5-4 to Morecambe. Was it the same competition or was it?
Yes, it was
first round. So it's because it's the second round and it's the second attempt, you never know. But it also gives us a very good opportunity to get Tom Eaves on the pitch and get some minutes into him. So I think it'll potentially be Kelly and Eves up front. So that's a new strike partnership we haven't seen. So that could be interesting. And we will also hopefully get a first look at this new wing back that we've got coming in as well. So for me, yeah, it doesn't matter because, like you say, we do have bigger fish to fry, especially on the Saturday. But it'll be nice to see some new players, a new strike partnership potentially developing, and just to go through. I think I'm hoping for like Newcastle away or something.
No, not away.
Oh, God, no, them steps again, man.
I've never been to their ground. I want to go.
No, you don't. You don't want to go.
Sunderland. I want to do Newcastle.
No, you don't.
It's a brilliant ground, Newcastle, because the way they put the away fans. It's just an absolute joke.
I think it's about 14 flights, is what they say on their website. I think
it's crazy. But yeah, a couple of stats. Russ Vernon sent me these stats when the draw was made, so thank you very much to Russ for those. As Danny mentioned, it was 5-4 the last time we met in the Cup. Kevin Elliston with not the winner, but the goal to put them ahead on the night. And as Tiny pointed out, Cole Stockton scored that night. I didn't realise he'd been at Morecambe for so long. That is a genuine shock to me. This is the fourth meeting this will be the fourth meeting in Cup competitions. One of them obviously being the 2016 Carabao Cup. We also played them in 79, drawing the first one, winning the replay at Millmore, the second one. The replay was. Get some minutes to players, says Stephen Thomas. Sorry, that's what's important to get some minutes into the players. Poundwed UK, it's a glorified friendly. I like it, mate. I like seeing these players. I want to see Tommy. I want to see Scott High. I'm really looking forward to seeing Scott High get probably 90 minutes under his belt. I'm looking forward to seeing Jamie McCart get. Well, I think he played the Port Vale game. So what will be his second appearance? I know you're not excited for it, but it's exciting to see those new players, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Because they are the depth for this squad, aren't they? So it's going to be interesting to see what strength we have got in there. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm quite looking forward to watching it. To be honest with you, the result is not really of any consequence to me. It'd be nice, like you said, to get a decent sized club in next round. But other than that, it's all about performance, isn't it? Get some minutes in players' legs and let's see what else we've got bubbling under that first team. That's my view, anyway. I'm kind of with Powermad, really, bit of a glorified friendly, but an important one.
Yeah. Worth noting, rule change. I'm not sure a rule change this season, but the rule is there's no extra time. So it's draw at full time, same as the Papa John's from last season. It would go straight to a penalty shootout because, as they rightly decided, nobody wants extra time in August. It's completely so yeah, that's that one. Howard UK says Paul Davis says Eves and the new right back will play, which is pretty exciting. Russ Vernon says he has been told by that Sheffield United that we're the latest club to register an interest in Arsenal's Brooke Norton Cuffy. However, they have failed to land him.
Unlucky.
This is fully expected. It was expected to be announced Friday. It looks like it's now going to be announced on Monday. Touch wood, cross fingers. Hopefully that comes.
If all the rumours are true of the clubs that have shown interest in him, and if he does come to us, that's quite a coup, to be honest.
It seems like it.
If it happens, of course, and it just gives people an indication as to the regard that Paul Warne and his team are held in by some of these Premier League clubs. Absolutely. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Ourselves, you know what I mean? But if that's the case, amazing.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
Yeah, it will be. And I would be very surprised if he didn't start, whether he's fit or not. It's a cup game to get minutes under the belt is what I would expect. We haven't made the third round of the Carabao Cup since 2008 and 2009. That year we went on to the fourth round when we lost to Stoke City, who at the time were a Premier League club. We lost 2-0. Mark Robbins was the manager. I think we had a League Two and we beat 3 Championship clubs to make it to the 4th round, and then lost to the Premier League club. That was a decent, very decent cup run. That, to be honest with you, and so that's the last time. And this, I think, in my lifetime, maybe the only time we've ever made it that far. It's not a competition we normally do very well in, to be honest with you. So let's have some predictions. Danny, the pressure's on. Bearing in mind you got the last one 100% bang on. So I'll give you first pick for this one.
No, mate, the pressure's always on me. Don't worry. Let me think. I mean, of course, Morecambe will be looking to upset us. They've already put that on their Twitter, like, "Oh, it's another Championship team for us to beat," you know. So they'll be really up for it, I think. It depends on what develops with Cole Stockton, I think, because I think he's going to Fleetwood.
Apparently, got a transfer request in.
Yeah, so I actually doubt he'll play, which, basing off his past performances at New York against us for Morecambe, is quite good, because I thought it was quite a bit of trouble when we played Morecambe. I'll say 2-0 to us.
2-0 to the Millers. I thought 20-0 there. 2-0. I will go 3-1. I think. Mick, thoughts?
At 3-0 Rotherham. There's no way Josh Vickers is going to concede. I don't think.
Did Josh Vickers play in goal last time against Morecambe?
Yes, I think he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
That sort of almost bicycle that Stockton did edge area, that pulled off an absolute world from Josh Vickers.
Yeah, Vickers won't concede them.
Score predictions: Tiny says 2-0. Eves to get both. Harley Kelwick says 3-0. Powermed says 4. S64 says 3. Russ Vernon says 2-1. Nicholas Skidmore 3-1. James Finney 2-1. Lots of positivity, as we always seem to get. That's really good. Which I like. Is there anybody else you're looking at? We know Vickers, or we almost certainly this Vickers has picked up an injury. Vickers is going to play. Anybody else you're excited to see? Danny, we've mentioned a few minutes ago. Is there anybody that stands out? I think, I want to see them play.
I think probably Tom Eves more than anything. I want to see what he's all about. Because I think, like I've already said, I think with the QPR game, we sort of missed him with no option running into the box at times, because Kelly was sort of lingering on the edge of the box, you know, and you know, Washington isn't the tallest, so he's not really your big centre forward that you can get the ball into the box and he gets his head on it. So it'll be interesting to see how he performs and how we perform with, I expect to be Bramall starting on the left-hand side and then this new wing-back on the right-hand side. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Do we think Lindsay will be in midfield? Bear in mind he only played 5 minutes on Saturday.
I think, yeah, you'll see him high and maybe a Doffin. Could you see a Doffin come in? Because I wouldn't want to risk Barlasser or Wiles.
Yeah, it depends on if a Doffin's back fit enough, I think. I know that JJ's back in training on Monday.
Yeah, that's good.
NSW with this one, has Jake Hull gone out on loan? No,
Great
I don't
shout.
think he has. So we could put Hull in there for this one. It's a good shout.
Yeah, because we played Peltier against Port Vale, but that's because he hadn't played. He's now played 290 minutes, or not far off 290 minutes in Tuesday, Saturday. Same as him and Woody are not going to play now. Are not going to play on Tuesday. Maybe Grant Hall could, just so you've got that still got that steady head in the middle to cover him there as well, potentially. What do you think, Georgie Kelly and Eves up top, Mick?
Yeah, possibly. I don't care. Sorry, you needed a bit more. Did you need a bit more input from me than that?
I mean, more enthusiasm won't go amiss.
I would have thought Georgie Kelly will start, obviously. If Eves is fit, I think Eves will start. To cue the long ball team again. two big men up front, and away we go. Yeah, I would have thought those two would start up front.
Jordan Kokana says he's bowler injured. Not sure, to be honest with you.
I think he was, but again, he might be one that's just coming back in with a Doffin. Because I swear they said it was Eves KO'd a Doffin and bowler, but Eves was more. Well, he wasn't more advanced because he's back in the side. And it's also them three that I think we've had loans offers for. even though they've been injured. So now that they're back nearly fighting fit, we'll have to wait and see with those two, I think.
Yeah. Actually, 11 days at transfer window to go. There'll be some goings. There will be some outgoings, maybe 1 or 2 incomings, hopefully. I think we've just about covered everything. Everything Rotherham related. Have I missed anything? Anything we just want to cover, talk about, mention?
No, I think we're about done, aren't we, there with that?
Wonderful. We'll not be doing an instant reaction for this game. It's the Carabao Cup, early rounds of the Carabao Cup. If we get more serious, then we certainly will later on. But there'll be no instant reaction YouTube video for this game. That will return on Saturday when Birmingham City come to town, and our record against them is terrible.
Oh dear.
Bit of a sneak preview of our next episode there, to be honest with you. But yeah. I hope everybody has a good time at New York City on Tuesday. It's nice to be in there. I don't think there's many coming from Morecambe. I don't think we'll take many for the first round tie, to be honest with you. But we'll wait and see. Please do subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. On iTunes, Spotify, if you do audio listen, please make sure you subscribe and give it a 5-star rating on there if you want, if you can, if you haven't already. We would very much appreciate that. Mick, thank you for being with us tonight. It's been a pleasure. You need to close your blinds.
Why?
It's dark.
Yeah. I'm not keen on this going dark at 9 o'clock at night.
I can't control
that. No. Fair enough.
Danny, it's been a pleasure, and I'll probably see you Tuesday at Morecambe.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Are we going to Morecambe? I thought, are we away?
At the Morecambe game. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
Michael.
Yeah, always a pleasure, and hopefully we can get a pint in or 2 before the game.
Good luck.
Yeah. Inside the ground, maybe.
We'll see.
More luck than that.
You're going to have a pint of Coke, aren't you, Mo? Just get an empty pint glass and just put the bottle in it. That'll do.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, everybody. Love you lots, and see you Thursday for the next YouTube episode Friday morning for the podcast. See you soon, guys.
Bye. Yeah, take care.
Ravel, vicious, but brilliant. Mule with it. Wood's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again. The magic man has come up with another trick. Well, here's a chance to seal it. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.